Um,
There,
but even like,
it's, I'm thinking about this too, and like this is a AAA game, right?
yes,
And I don't know that I feel that
I think the
also
train is actually moving through an environment at this point.
possibly.
Because like, yeah, I guess we're going to ride it all the way. Oh man.
Enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Oh,
Next 15 hours of the game just waiting on the train. You do a thing, sure. Okay. And so like the thing is, like Night in the Woods is a game that's basically about people talking to each other, and this is not.
and rhythm.
Yes. I mean, and lots of stuff. Basically, and so like this isn't, and it would be unfair to be like, oh well, if this had only had like 50 times the amount of text in terms of player dialogue, that's not really fair to this game because that's not really the thing that the game was going for, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if they want to be like, this is a game about four guys and their relationship together and how they deal with all this stuff, like, then have them actually talk to each other, which is kind of. I don't know.
Has that been said? Because I don't.
The developers did say.
Yeah, but it's like a politician saying something. It doesn't
Right.
mean a whole
Right, I'm saying
lot.
like that. But I mean, if they're doing that as the marketing,
They might want to strive.
they might want to actually try and do that for real.
Yeah, but this isn't. Is this a personal gripe, or is this a gripe that you've heard from other people?
I mean, it's mostly. I mean, it's a gripe I've heard variations of on. Like there was a thing on Waypoint that was like, your bros in Final Fantasy 15 are actually terrible, was like the title of the article, and then they changed it to something maybe a little bit less aggressive. But
Still no sign of Lady Luna.
but and so then it's just kind of like
Give to see her again.
they seem like all of these characters are kind of unlikable. And so it's just kind of like, well, not like they're unlikable, and there's not even really the opportunity to have them talk and figure out maybe there's some redeeming stuff going on. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. Or like for example, like
And here's the thing, like maybe I mean actually I highly doubt that they'll change the formula like at this point in the game. But I mean maybe they will, like due to the fact that now it's a little bit, tighter together. Like it fits. Or like they're going to, it's coming to the plots. What the hell am I trying to say? It's coming to a head.
right,
They're trying to
coming to the
condense
climax.
it, get it together.
I mean, there's always hope, I guess.
Yeah, but no promises.
Right.
I mean,
I guess the other thing is that like, or like you can't even be like, hey Gladio, maybe let's talk about that screaming argument we had.
yeah, he's being surly right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's usually being surly, but
and the thing is
they're
like,
all kind of surly. Well,
right.
actually,
Okay.
Prompto isn't really.
Prompto
guess
is the
Ignis
small
really-
child who is worried that everyone he knows is yelling at each other.
That's a sad thing, and it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, good job.
Congratulations.
Well done with that.
Um,
It's like here's that experience
okay,
that
so
you
we're
didn't get.
here. Are we just gonna get back on the train, or
I
are we
think
gonna
so,
follow
yeah.
it? Oh, okay, no, we're going to stop and do the royal tomb here.
Oh.
You boys are heading into the mine.
Oh God! I thought he lost his arms.
Who?
This guy. I thought he was just
guy?
wearing a coat with no arms, or like.
Let's see. Is this? Oh, I mean, I guess we can't afford any of them, so it doesn't really matter.
Here I'm thinking like, why the hell can't we afford anything?
I don't know.
Because we don't have any money. That's why.
Well, yeah. I mean, or just the stuff is super expensive.
Come
But
again.
Don't worry. I'm pretty soon we'll actually. I'm
then-
sure we'll be able to fix that up.
Welcome, boys. We don't have much, but you're welcome to browse at your leisure.
Welcome, boys.
uh,
Okay, that. So we've got a fair amount of all of it.
yeah.
Thank you.
You know, you can never really have too many healing items.
Yeah, we were just talking about that too.
Yep.
Well,
Can we talk to you about how
Nope.
everything...
Elevator that
Okay,
should
there we
take
go.
us straight down to the mine.
Oh, but you're
Wonder
telling
if
us
the
game
Q's
advice.
inside. Those two went to grab a bite in that glorified dining car they call a restaurant.
oh god, I'm so hungry right now.
Should have eaten before started recording.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, do not start... Oh,
No,
God.
I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get it.
So anyway, there's now a solo LP. But yeah, I don't know, I just kind of feel like... like, one of the things I actually really did like, or kind of fit my... not necessarily fit my expectations, but kind of did something I would like to see the game do more, was, like, that one bonus dungeon we did, where...
I didn't hear a damn thing you just said.
Okay. One thing they did like was like one of the bonus dungeons that we did, the one where it was in the forest, where it's like, hey, stay out of the forest, it's a protected area.
Mhm.
And because what I liked about that is that it was kind of like, in my mind, kind of playing off expectations of the genre. Because like, if you're playing an RPG and it's like, oh, this is a forbidden forest, you don't want to go here because it's dangerous, or because it's like legally off limits, that means go there. Because there's treasure. Whereas if this is like, we are supposed to be engaging with this as if it was like an actual place, it's like, oh, what actually that means, like, there are endangered animals there, or there's conservation efforts, or, you know, there are pits or poison and stuff. Like there's like, no, you don't want to go there because it's like dangerous and you might end up like killing off nearly like an endangered species. And so when it was like, yeah, and now here's this unique monster at the end of the forest that you fight and kill.
Yep.
Like all the way through, it was kind of like, is this actually the right thing to be doing, or are we just kind of messing something up? And kind of like that tension, I thought was funny, you know.
Did they actually bring that up?
Well, I mean, there were a bunch of signposts that were like, you know, forbidden area, don't enter. It's just, the thing is, everywhere in this game, there are signs being like, oh, don't enter here because they're fiends. So, like, I don't even think that was, like, necessarily an intentional thing on part of the game designers. I think that's just kind of, like, how my interpretation of the game fell out while playing that game, you know? Or, like, shook out of my head, you know? And...
how it manifested.
Yes. And so, like, if the game did a lot more of stuff like that, like, kind of juxtaposition between RPG stuff and, like, real-world stuff to kind of befit this setting that is both this hybrid of real-world stuff and RPG stuff, I think that would be interesting. And so, like, insofar as it did that once, that was nice, but it really doesn't seem to be doing that a lot.
Oh my god, please don't tell me you're going to run all the way down. Yeah, you are.
Yes, I am.
Son of a
to
bitch.
pick up these kind of useless glowing items that are just things we could buy in the store for a pittance. Because that's kind of the other thing I didn't like, is like, there's lots of treasure in this game, but
none of it is worth anything.
But none of it's really worth it. Like, okay, you picked up the shiny. Like, here's this shiny all the way down. It's a bottle. Like, this bottle is probably going to give us, like, a quality modifier on a spell we make. And that's it. And it's like, well, I mean, I guess.
It's a modifier for a system that we don't even really like that much.
Right, because that was the thing, like, when I was talking about, you know, action RPG or action game stuff, like, you have, like, limited use grenades that you can throw.
Yeah.
And it's like, between that and, like, the covering, it's like they really, really wanted to kind of take some of that structure of, like, a first-person shooter game, but, like, not, and it's kind of, like, glom that onto the system.
Yeah.
And they did that, and it's kind of like, okay. I mean, that's a thing that exists in the game, I guess, but...
Yeah. I liked the idea that Magic kind of... I like the idea they had when they were running the demo, which is Magic kind of had that... It was attached to a weapon, essentially. You were using a weapon to do a certain spell or whatever.
Sure.
I'm not exactly... I don't even remember how that went. I kind of like that idea, But I also like the idea where magic is more.
Okay, that is it. Sorry, go on.
I don't know. I like the idea where magic is more kind of free form, like you're throwing it around. You can throw it around when you need it, or even the idea where you kind of have to build up a combo to use magic. That would be kind of cool.
Right.
Like you use a magic finisher or something. And I don't know. That just seems like a kind of a cool idea. Or like you have to build up the magic momentum or something.
Right. Like it kind of feels like. Because, I mean, that was one thing I think I mentioned when we first started, was that, like, they did, in fact, change the way the combat system worked between the demo, like the Disguise demo, and the actual game.
Was it the Sky demo?
Yes.
Was that what it was called? Yeah, because it was the Sky, and then there was...
for that region of the game, yeah.
Oh, the hell. What was the other one?
I have no idea.
The Magical Dream one. Where you were going around as a child with a toy sword.
I didn't play that at all.
He's actually blind. That sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he said it's like... he said his eyesight would come back in time.
Oh. That's when he gets the super cool glasses.
And, like... Or another thing, and, like, I don't know.
In a vague sense, I like how this story is coming together.
I mean, I kind of like the abstract structure of it, in a sense.
Yeah.
But it's not really compelling.
No.
It's like, okay, I've played, like, hundreds of hours of Legend of Mana.
Yeah.
And of Dark Cloud 2.
We've talked about Legend of Mana, and
yes.
The fact that when we talked about the structure of the game and the fact that the protagonist isn't like
isn't really a character.
He's a character, but he has no importance.
Right, you're the sidekick that you go along while other people do their important quests.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, and I actually really like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
It never really kind of occurred to me. I was always like, well, this is just a game where it has there's no real overarching story or anything. It's like, that's not actually the case.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your story.
Right.
Go at your own pace.
It's someone else's story and you're just helping it along.
Right.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
And so the things like, I've played hundreds of hours, or 100 plus hours of those games. I could say, like...
What was the other one?
Dark Cloud 2.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and like...
I don't... Ugh.
Yeah, the camera makes him sick.
Yeah, makes me horribly ill.
Which is kind of like, I really like it, and I can talk for ages about why I like it.
And it doesn't have anything to do with mothers.
Yes.
Right? That was the thing,
well, no,
right?
The thing is that most of the characters have, like... Nearly everyone has a complicated relationship with their parents, and frequently their mother specifically. Comes up, like, 3 or 4 different times for distinct characters.
Yeah, it's been a long time since Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to...
But that's...
That environment does not seem nearly large enough to encompass that many large animals. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh! See, I thought this was going to be an actual mine. This is a strip mine.
Oh, yeah.
That's why there are trees.
Right.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, you were talking about...
And so, like, those are games I really liked, and, like, I think it's, like, the thing is that they kind of hooked me, right? They were like, oh, even if you don't really know the full plot, or kind of, if you don't know everything about the game, it's still...
Is it too much to ask the royal procession sticks together?
It's still compelling in its own right.
Yeah.
It's funny because, specifically Legend of Mana, the graphical style is what really hooks me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was all hand painted, like backgrounds and shit, and that was like awesome, amazing.
Yeah, like it's very visually distinct.
And that game wasn't. There was no random generation or anything in that, was there?
No.
Okay, good. I do remember they like they stitch together set pieces for different parts, like specifically what was the tower called?
Tower of Leers.
Yeah. I mean, that's a perfectly acceptable way to do it. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion. But it's like, I remember that particular aspect of it was really attractive to me.
Like, just visually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was technically a sequel to Secret of Mana, despite not actually being a main game, which is, it's weird to me because that's kind of what for the longest time, that's what I thought it was.
A sequel?
Yeah, I thought it was an actual sequel. I thought it was.
Right. I mean, I think they're set in like the same kind of world or kind of dimension.
Oh yeah.
But.
Yeah, but they're. God, and then what was the actual fourth one that I just also could not play because of the camera?
World of Mana.
Dawn
of Mana.
And that one wasn't even very good, if I remember.
That was the one where you had the Vine Whip, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because, like...
It looked so good. I was so excited for that game. I hate... Like, Square's been just messing with me for a long time now. I mean, I'm going to say, like, I have a lot better feeling about this game than I do about that, and that's...
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah. Like, Dawn of Mana it was incredibly, just really disappointing. I think it was the fact that, like, every chapter you'd lose all your experience and stuff.
Right.
The fact that I was horribly ill every time I would play it, so a lot of it was just me being sick. And I can't play games that make me sick. Like, anything that makes me physically ill actually has an emotional... I mean, I'm sure that it's for most people.
It's like, this is so physically unpleasant to play that it is not really...
Yeah, it's like, I want to play Resident Evil 7. I hear it's really good, but I can't play first-person games.
Mm-hmm.
And my other friend, Ben, was talking about how much he loves the game, but he has the same problem with it, and he can only play it for like an hour at a time. And I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't just set aside for an hour. Like, I want to keep playing, and I'll keep playing, and I'll just get sick and sick and sick, and then it's bad.
Sure.
I think I watched a fair amount of the Resident Evil 7 LP from Best Friends, but I mean I couldn't get more than like 3 episodes in. So
Sure.
It's just, ugh. I mean, it looks like a great game, and either that or I was letting Ben play.
There they go. Like, they all got stuck in the swamp water beneath.
Oh, God damn it.
They're...
Son of a
Because that's the thing,
bitch.
it's also like, shepherd Ignis around. And it's like, okay, sure. But then it's also like, his AI is still terrible. So it's like, oh.
And let's also think about this too, like, how much of an effect did Luna dying not have on us?
Well, I mean, ostensibly it's the reason everyone is kind of snippish and angry at each other right now.
Yes, but on us personally, like you
No.
and me. Like,
Yes.
I like this game, I like the story, and it bothers me that she's dead, but like you were saying, I don't know her at all.
Right.
I mean, you've never, like, the interactions you've seen were, like, when you were, like, 14, or she was 14 and you were, like, 12. I don't know how this works.
That journal you kind of pass back and forth writing one thing on it.
You only did that, like, twice, right?
Yes. I mean, because that's the other thing, is that, like... Okay, so recently, there has been... somebody wrote an article that kind of caused a stir in the gaming scene. Ian Bogost, who had written before, like, a story that was kind of like... Or an article that was basically like, video games are better without characters. He wrote this kind of article that was basically like, video games are bad at character writing for a lot of reasons. And then more recently, he wrote this thing that was basically video games are better without stories.
I was actually gonna bring that. I was gonna bring that kind of idea up, like big. When we were talking about big ticket games, like the fact is, like, you don't often get unless the company itself is really good at pulling this off already. You don't often get a lot of overlap between good story, good gameplay, good graphics. Like,
Sure.
It's like, pick 2 of the 3 maybe.
Right. I mean, the thing I would say is, like, I don't think games have
And
like,
not even
good stories, period, really.
What do you mean?
Like,
Wait, sorry, say that again.
I don't think games have good stories, period. Like, I think
You don't even think Legend of Mana with its
Like, as a story, like, it's presented in an interesting way.
well, you have to consider that. You have to consider that. First of all, you don't like movies or TV, so
Sure.
that kind of detracts from your credibility here. And I assume you're talking about the specific narrative.
I mean, I'm saying...
The narrative in these situations are mostly first-person narrative. They're your own. They're your own experience
Yes.
of the characters. Like,
I mean, like...
if you
Like, as these, like, stories that advance complex concepts with a complex argument, you know, and not just, like...
oh,
Like...
no, that doesn't happen.
Right, like, the plot in this...
Except for maybe
Glad you're taking this seriously.
what the hell was that game we were talking about that took us so long to figure out that I had to make
What?
the one based in Heart of Darkness.
Oh, yes.
God,
The
damn
Line,
it.
Spec Ops The Line.
Thank you, because all I could think of, I was like, it's not Sniper Elite. I just remember me saying that. That's the worst part. I always remember the part that's wrong.
Right.
Anyway, yeah.
And, like, the other thing is, like, even, like, basically all of the Final Fantasy games ever have, with maybe 7 as a slight, have been like, you know, here's the bad guys, and then you have to beat the bad guys. You
Yeah.
know? Like, a lot of video games still have kind of like a plot that's basically a power fantasy, you know?
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, and that, I mean, when you put it that way, I hadn't thought of it that way. Not surprising.
Right.
Well, no, wait, I had thought of it that way.
And so anyway, like, the thing with the Ian Bogas piece, though...
How
is
many
that,
like point and clicks do you play?
not many?
Or what the hell is the name of those? Specifically, like the Double Fine. A lot of the Double Fine, like the Double Fine adventure games.
I don't think I've played the Double Fine adventure game ever.
The one that came out, the one that was like crowdsourced or whatever.
Massive Chalice?
No,
That's not a point. Yeah, right, that's not a point and click adventure game.
Christ, I can't think of it.
Okay.
Like it's on the tip of my tongue. Like I can see all the images and the characters and all that. It's got Elijah Wood in it. It's got a lot of like really
what's
big
the
name
plot?
actors. Christ, it's 2 different characters. One is like stuck in a spaceship, and the other one's like going to be sacrificed to like be eaten by some god thing.
I don't think I've ever heard of this ever.
Oh, it's really cool. I haven't played the second episode yet, which is the worst part because like there are only 2 episodes as far as I know. Like I think that was the thing. Like, there were only 2. But it was really like point and click games are really cool. Like I really like those. Specifically, I don't know if point and click is the right thing. Like,
You mean like adventure games?
adventure? God damn, I can't think of the name of them. Adventure specifically point and click. Like, what's the one where it's like the Day of the Dead theme? It's like from '97.
Grant, was it not Grant?
Grim Fandango.
Grim Fandango. There we go.
That game is amazing. Like, I played that again. I played that like 2014, I think. I played that again, and it's like the graphics are crap because it's like a. It's
I mean,
basically
they were decent at the time, but yes.
no, they were amazing at the time because it was like '97. It was like the same time. Like it has the same idea. It's got pre-rendered backgrounds and 3D characters. It's the same idea as like Final Fantasy VII.
Right.
But it's like you move your character around. I suppose it's not actually a point and click, but it's the same idea because you may move the character around, but you're examining things, you're clicking on things, you're talking to people. There's like it does not have an action aspect to it, and it's not actually a power.
Right.
It's not a power fantasy. It's like you are playing a character in this story that is
Doing these things.
yeah, and it's actually the story is kind of sad
Right.
if I remember.
You staying
And-
alive is enough.
Pronto's using a mechanism, a machine, a
Yes.
tool, whatever. Yeah, but those games are amazing, and I forgot what got us onto this.
Video
Tangent.
games not having stories.
Oh yeah, no,
Fantasies.
like those games are like great, and also like Monkey Island. That's really a weird.
You know,
story.
given that I was kind of all like, oh yeah, we should just kind of go and get through all the story plot and finish this up. In fact, I've just kind of meandered around trying to explore this entire area when the quest marker is right at the beginning.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Okay.
Because I actually wasn't thinking about it until you said it right now, but
Right.
fair point.
But
yeah.
guess I should just go do that.
That was part of the thing. Like, you know, if you're going to meander, you might as well be able to do it quickly. By the way, the reason we don't have any money is because, well, I didn't grind off camera, so...
Right.
But like I said, I'll be able to take care of that later, because there's some fairly easy ways to actually pick up some cash that I know of.
Right.
So it'll be good. It'll be fun. Well, you'll not see any of it, and you're gonna have to deal with that. But
anyway, I guess the thing with the Ian Bogost piece though, is just like
yeah,
video game stories are frequently bad.
Do you know what the title of that was?
I think it was literally games are better without story.
Oh, okay.
Or like
It's
games
what you
would be
said.
better without stories. And so like, because the thing is like, yes, video game stories are frequently bad, but like, because his kind of thesis here is what people should be doing is kind of making games that are out systems. So like, instead of having
This is part of my feel. The games that are about systems, like games that are about game systems,
right,
like how well a system works.
right. But I mean, I kind of feel like that is also kind of an impoverished understanding of what games can do. I feel like
You think so?
yeah. I mean, like I mean, personally, yes, I'm all for like kind of procedural game stuff.
More
procedural
than all
stories.
for it.
Yes, I'm working on several procedural things right now.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I'm so used to game stories being terrible that I've kind of lost hope of seeing one that's actually really interesting and good.
Oh, okay.
And so like I did really like the plot and the story of Night in the Woods. I thought the character writing, as I kind of said, was like
I really want to play this because we talked about it. Like
it's on my computer. You could in fact go play it.
oh, well, I mean, I'm not going to do that right now.
Well,
obviously.
yes, not in the middle of a recording. No.
Or afterward, 'cause other reasons.
But basically, like, and I was like,
the only interaction we've had about that is entirely been you showing me the video
Right.
while I was playing Persona.
right,
Not to date this video too much, but it's not like it's not going to be months after. It's not going to come out months after anyway.
But anyway, and so it just kind of like, I was like, oh wait, this is actually, like, even if the story here is linear,
Be down below.
it's still very interesting to kind of to kind of see the unfolding of the story through the gameplay. Even if it's like, yeah, this is a linear story with a linear gameplay, but like, it's still good. It is well done enough that that's not an issue.
God, what was the game? Sword and Sorcery. It's a super weird game. I don't know if I actually even finished it, but it was really fun and really weird. It was like a music game that I got. God, I buy so many. Got it in the Humble Bundle, I think, and I played it. It was really cool. It was another point and click.
Sure.
And I actually don't know what I was going for at that point anyway, so it's not particularly surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. This area is really
They
cool.
parked here.
Yeah.
Wish we could write him a ticket.
It actually reminds me... Does it remind me of...
Nothing but a giant roadblock.
Ironic for a vehicle.
If we get its motor running, perhaps we can move it out of the way.
Get your motor running, come on, dance with
Okay, so now it's like, oh, now it's go and explore the rest of the area.
Well, too late.